If you're making less than $3 million a year, like all of your effort, the first 4 hours of your day, you have to force people to find out about your stuff.
Is it possible to replace 4 hours of outreach with AI? We did not do this, so it hallucinated this part. Okay, so this is missing. Why is this missing? So let's run this again. Okay, perfect. So now it's working as intended. For those of you that don't know, Alex Hormozi is a successful business entrepreneur who's known for his stance that
volume negates luck.
But in this video, I'm going to challenge and give myself 30 minutes to build an outreach AI agent that's more than an automated message and better than the AI slop all over the internet right now. So when I think about outreach, there are a couple of items that take up the majority of your time, and these are the things that I want to automate with an AI agent. So the very first thing is determining whether So we want the AI to be able to determine whether a lead is an ideal customer or fits an ideal customer profile, right? So this will have to be done by the AI agent researching either the lead's website or whatever information that we have at hand, and then comparing it against a ideal customer profile criteria that we give the AI. And then it could determine whether or not is this person an ICP or not. If so, then the second thing that also takes a lot of time is creating personalized messages. So both of these things require some sort of research on our end to determine and create personalized messages, and also to figure out whether that you even want to reach out to them in the first place. So with AI, these are the two things that I'm going to want to automate. So this is our demo CRM. It has very basic information, just a name, LinkedIn, and the website. And we want to target our ideal customer profile are accounting firms, specifically in the e-commerce niche. So we have one example of just a generic accounting firm and the one that is in the e-commerce niche. And this will help kind of calibrate our AI agent and make sure that it's filtering and finding the correct leads that we want to target. Okay, so let's start by grabbing these leads. And we're going to make sure we are configuring to the correct sheet. No filters for now, and we could just leave it. So let's execute this and make sure we're getting the two leads that we want. Okay. Now from here, let's configure it straight to an OpenAI node. We're going to message a model. So essentially, we want this agent to do two things, right? One, we want it to scrape the website here. So we're going to give it this website information. And the second thing is we want it to determine whether it's an ICP or not, right? So we can kind of dump everything into this prompt if we want. We can give it the entirety of what our ICP criteria is. And then we can give it instructions to scrape the website and then determine against this ICP. But a cleaner option might be to just set and determine and define what the ICP is in a previous node. And in this set node, we're going to define kind of certain buckets or criteria within our ICP that we think are important, right? So let's first call this ICP. And so you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm basically going to be giving these criteria of what we consider is important to determine whether it's an ICP or not. I'm going to skip forward so you don't have to watch me type this, but you can also go to ChatGPT. You can, give some context about what your ICP is, tell them that you want it in this format, and it can spit it out for you like this as well. So this is the final list of tags that I'm including in this ICP set. The stuff over here, I asked ChatGPT to kind of give me some more preferred fields for the accounting e-com space, and this is kind of what it spit out. I'm not sure what it means, but I'm going to include this. And something that I also always add for my ICP agents or ICP criteria is basically a priority bucket, which makes it a lot easier to categorize these leads and see and tells me if they're a high priority lead, if they're a perfect fit for our ICP, if they're a medium fit, and also helps an AI agent to determine whether they should move forward or not with the lead. Okay, now that we're done with this, let's go back to our agent. So actually, we wanted this to be an agent. So it's not going to be OpenAI. And below. So not the OpenAI model, but the built-in AI agent within N8N. And then within here, we're going to connect it to OpenAI. So down here, we'll give it a chat model. I'll keep it 4.1. That's fine. And this is kind of where this is where the most bulk of the work is, prompting the agent, making sure it's not hallucinating and actually doing what it's supposed to do. The first thing we want to do is define exactly the steps the agent should take. So the first step, so we haven't assigned a tool yet to this agent, but we're going to give it a fire crawl so that it can actually scrape the website and get information on the company. So here we're going to go back to our ICP, copy this. So let's call this ICP config. Let's copy this, doing this here. Let's paste it here so we can kind of, from here, we want to give it instructions. So let's do just the first 3. Submit these. So we can get rid of these. Okay, so this should give the agent a good idea on what it should be doing with the ICP config. Let me change this to config. What else do we need? So from here, it's going to determine, yes, and then step 3, or before that, let's add a rule. Okay. So we're just giving it some guardrails so that it actually performs what we're asking it to do. In step 3, now we're going to be scoring it against our ICP config, right? So okay, so you kind of get the point of what this step 3 is doing. Using the features that we got from scraping the website, compare it against our ICP criteria, and give it a score, right? So let me fill this out really quickly. Okay, so we're basically saying that within the preferred fields, depending on how many of those features they can find and they're able to check, that's going to determine what priority they are. So for example, if we go back to our ICP criteria, you can see that our priority buckets are 2, 5, and 10. So these are arbitrary numbers. Actually, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this should be 8. This should be, we keep this as 4, and then you keep it as 2, 4, 8. So this, basically from the website that they scrape, if they're able to find 8 true, all these are true, then it's a high priority. If it's a medium, or if they're able to find 4, then it's a medium, and then only 2 or below, then it's a low priority. So that is the purpose of this. And we're also going to be setting the ICP fit to yes. Now, the next thing I want to do is have the agent also spit out a quick summary of the website. And so we can use this not only to, have that at hand, but when we're going to create personalized messages, we want to have a quick summary of the website so we can, make it more relevant and personal to the lead. So this should be good. The final step is the output. So we want to have the output in a structured way. And we're going to first ask for the URL. So this is going to come actually directly from our row sheet. So maybe we can map this now. This website, we're going to put right here. Then the website summary that they're going to do in step 4. And we want the features of the website. Then we want the verdict, which is going to be, and we want priority, which it's going to be either low and then we also want the reasoning. Okay. Let me add some rules here. Okay. So now the next step is to actually connect to the Firecrawl tool. So it's going to be HTTP request. This is pretty simple. We're going to use the basic scrape from Firecrawl. I'm going to call this Firecrawl tool. And let me find the actual API endpoint. So I filled out the information for the Firecrawl tool. In my previous video, I actually went more in depth on how you can get this. So you can check that out if any of this part is confusing to you. But this is the URL, the API endpoint. You're going to add your token down here. And for the body, it is just URL formats, this markdown HTML. And then in here, we're going to give it our actual URL. So I think we have it in here. So we'll grab this again. And we'll paste it in here. Okay. So just to test that this works correctly, let's add a limit for the first lead. And our first lead, if you remember, was not a e-com ICP. It was just a normal accounting firm. So let's test this out. So our output, it's giving the URL. So what did we want again? URL, website summary, features, and then verdict. Yeah, that's fine. URL, website summary. It's a little bit long. Features, is an accounting firm, is not e-com focused, is an agency or a consulting firm, is a software firm. Okay. ICP fit, no. Okay, this is perfect. The one thing that I'm a little worried about is the features. It's only giving the ones that I listed here, right, up to software firm. This was supposed to be an example, and I wanted to use all those keys from our ICP config, so I might actually have to map the entirety of, I might have to grab all of these, software firm, and then put it in there. Okay, so let me just do that. Okay, so I added the rest of these preferred fields up to here. So now this should be included in the features. Yeah, so let's run this again. Okay, so now, yes, all these features are coming in that will help determine the priority of this lead. So it's still ICP, no. Website clearly identifies as an accounting firm, but lacks explicit e-commerce related services. All right, perfect. So this is our ICP agent, right? It's gonna scrape the website and then compare it against our ICP criteria. Now, actually, what we want to do is flatten this or parse this output so we can kind of dynamically map each individual like key and value pair. So let's actually delete this rule and tell it to create. Actually, okay. So let's change the prompt to this or add this rule here. And if this does not work, we might need to add some code to parse this. But let's try. Yeah, it looks like it's still. Just delete this. We'll let it wrap it in this output key. And then we'll just write some code to parse this here. So we can actually go to ChatGPT and have it write the code for us, and let's see if that works. So let's grab this JSON output, go to ChatGPT, and we're going to say that we have JSON output below. Okay. This should work. Let's see. This is what it spit out for us. Here's a drop-in snippet. Flattens all the nested keys into simple key value pairs. Okay. So let's grab this, go back to N8N. And I mean, we want to map this. We're going to have to map this dynamically, but let's see if this even works. Okay, so this does not work. Let's see. Okay, let's go back to ChatGPT. We're going to tell it code doesn't return items properly. Also, input variable it. Okay, let's see what it does with this information. Okay, so let's grab the code that they gave us. Go back to N8N. Okay, so it did work. I'm not sure if I want all these. Okay, so it did work. I just want to make sure it has the key value pairs that we want. So website summary, verdict, priority, reasoning. Okay. So from here, now we have these variables that we can map dynamically. Let's go back to our Google Sheets. And we're going to append or update. Before that, let's go back to our demo CRM. And we're going to add one for is ICP, priority, reasoning. I think that's it. And then let's have one for personalized message. So now we can append the row. And we want to, let's move my face. We want to match the column. So we can do it by LinkedIn as the ID. We'll grab the LinkedIn ID. And these is ICP. We're going to grab our verdict. We're going to grab our priority and our reasoning. And then we can also add one for website summary so you can have it on file and you don't have to scrape again. But for now, let's just leave it as is and then move on to the personalized outreach. So now we know whether a lead is an ICP or not. So we want to add that filter here. And we'll call this, oh. So is ICP is equal to no? Nope. And you can also do an if node here, since you only have 2, equal to yes. So if it's not an ICP, we're going to leave it. If it is an ICP, then we want to create a personalized message. So we'll do 4.0, that's fine. And then let's add one for system, one for user. This is where we're going to map our dynamic variables and expression. In a previous video, I went more in depth on how you can prompt a AI model to write personalized messages. So I'm not going to start from scratch here, and I'm actually going to just copy and paste that prompt, and I'll also link the video in the description below. So this is the prompt that we're giving it. We might have to edit some stuff out. So output exactly this JSON wrapper, company name, relevant thing, constraints, yes, source of truth. Okay, so no hallucination. All of my services come from internal. Okay, so we don't have a knowledge base. Services list below. If unsure, we want to have a fallback. So we're going to say similar thing, right? So this is what we're talking about. So document Snow PDFs. Let's edit this out as well. Similar thing. Real from cases knowledge base. So that's not here as well. And all we need to do is have a services list. So we can do sales. So we'll just list these 3 services that I provide. And we want to make sure that it refers to this list down here. So whatever your company is, you write the list down here, and then only from services list, Snowpeak services list below. Never invent a service, case highlight, if unsure, fallback. I want a fallback service. If unsure, use sales. Let's change this. So we have some fallback in case we can't find, if like none of their website information matches with our services, we'll just fall back to our sales and onboarding automation. Name, company name. I go over all this stuff in the other video. Relevant thing, real element from their site, of course. Real case, relevant thing. If none, write sales and onboarding automation. Okay. So this should work. Let's test this out. Oh, so we need to add stuff. So we need to add the website information. Okay. So let's execute previous. Oh, it's because it doesn't fit here. Okay, so for now, let's just map this to no. And we can actually bring these in here. So the website summary. We also need their name, which we can get from here. James. I think that's it. So let's try this and see what comes out. Okay. That was fast. Hey, James, came across your company. Noticed you help clients design tailored accounting systems and analyze forecasts. At Snowpeak, we recently helped automate onboarding and document collection for a firm with similar advisory depth. Would you be open to a brief chat? Okay, so this is pretty good. So this is what it would come out to, but let's actually work on, let's link it properly. So if it's ICP only, we want to spit out a message, and we're going to go to our second lead, who actually is an e-commerce accounting firm. So if this works correctly, it should filter through this agent. The agent should say, okay, looking at the website, they are actually an ICP. It's going to go through here. It's going to go down this switch route, and then it's going to spit out a message. Okay. Now let's make sure this message makes sense. Came across e-commerce accountants and noticed your focus on scalable CFO services for platform sellers. At Snowpeak, we recently helped automate onboarding flows for a firm serving multi-channel e-com clients. Okay. So this is good, except we did not do this. So it hallucinated this part. So let's go back. All Snowpeak services come only from your Snowpeak AI services list below. Never invent the service case. Sure. Okay. Let's try this part again. Okay, perfect. So now it's not hallucinating. At Snowpeak, we recently streamlined similar workflows with sales and onboarding automation, which will be open to a brief chat. Perfect. So we got rid of the hallucination. It's still... Okay, it's scraping this directly from their website. Perfect. So now let's spit this back into our CRM. So Google Sheets. Actually, we can just copy this. Let's copy this. We don't need any of this stuff. And we just want the personalized message here. All right. So you can kind of tell that this takes a bit of time, or it's a long process just to process one lead. So what we want to do is get rid of this limit, and then we'll batch it. So you can do however many batch size you want, maybe like 5. We'll just do 1 since we only have 2 leads. And we can start from here and go to here. All right, so our final test, and we're gonna run this basically for the 2 leads and then see what comes out. Oh, I see. Okay, so from this switch, it's stopping the workflow if it goes. Oh, so what we can do is just loop this back to here as well. So if nothing happens, move on to the next lead. So let's try this again. Okay, perfect. So now let's go to our CRM. Okay, so this is missing. Why is this missing? Oh, so it's deleting basically the message that came out. So if we just remove this, we could remove all of these actually, because this is what we want, just a personalized message. So let's run this again. Okay, perfect. So now it's working as intended. So this is what we wanted. This guy is high priority ICP. He matches all those preferred buckets as well. And then it creates a personalized message. So from here, obviously you can kind of format it differently. You can feed this to another AI node to reformat it, or you can just write some code and clean it up that way. But hopefully that was helpful, kind of walking you through my thought process on how I build out these workflows. Obviously this is, very, very quick and scrappy, but it's very similar to what the process we had today, right? We just start building, figure out what we're trying to replace and automate, and we go through a ton of trial and error. Now from here, once you have the personalized message, there's a bunch of outreach channels that you can do, right? So in my previous video, we talked more about email outreach. And so you can get their name and website, or you get their LinkedIn, feed it into some kind of email finder, get their email account, and then just drop in this personalized message to their email. Another option is you can kind of use a drip automation like Phantom Buster or something like that, and message this personalized message directly to their LinkedIn through here. So hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.